of Kedusha, holiness. Holiness has to do with the laws of relationships. And we're learning about Nida and Ziva, Zova, laws of menstrual cycle in particular. Chapter 9. According to scriptural law, a woman does not become impure as a Nida or a Zava, which means, as we've learned, a blood that comes from the uterus, until she experiences a physical sensation and menstruates and discovers blood, which emerges from her flesh, as we have explained. She becomes impure from the time that she menstruates and onward only, right? In other words, not retroactive, but only onwards, right? She becomes impure. Impure meaning, right, that means she can't eat if she is married to a Kohen and the Kohen brings back some, some truma, so she can't eat it in that state of impurity, right? She can eat other foods. Right? Food doesn't have to be pure, but she wouldn't be able to eat in a state of impurity. You can't have intimate relations, husband and wife, in a state of impurity. Those, that's the most important law, and then that's what is the law today.
Doesn't mean dirty.
No, impure doesn't mean dirt. Yeah. A lot of people think that impure means dirty, that the woman is dirty. She's not dirty. Impurity is a spiritual state of being. And by the way, just to give a little context to this, why did someone menstruate? And this is because there was a potential for life that was not realized. Right? That's what menstruation means. That the egg that could have been life, right, didn't become life of a child, right? It's not the fault. So when we talk about the laws of purity, impurity, it's not like, blaming the woman for this, No, it's not about blaming the woman for this. This is a reality of the way God created things. But the way God creates things is just like there is, there's up, down, there's light, and there's dark. Why would there be dark? Why would that's dirty. That's impure. Well, that's the way God creates the world. And there's ramifications as a result of that. So the fact that a fetus was not realized, right, it's not a blame, it's a reality. Just like darkness falls, it's a reality, and that there's consequences of darkness, right? Consequences of winter, right? And so on. That's part of, that there's the high points, there's up and there's down, low points. And so impurity just means that state of where you're not on the high point, right? Which just means, therefore, you lead life from that point. That's what it means. Is that clear?
More than clear.
Okay. Actually, Kana Malcolm, I just take a moment, folks. I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. I really want to, Gimel Tammuz is coming. The Rebbe's 30th year. I want to double down on all the things that I'm doing online and to do more. I don't mean more time, but to disseminate it and to get it out there more. But I need your help, because for shorts, reels that are 30-second, a minute long type of thing, if there's things, nuggets that I am saying through the class, if you can make note of it, and afterwards, if you can give me if you can even do me a favor and give me the approximate time of when I said it, so then I have someone who's going to edit it, and then we could, get it out there and have more people engaged. and involved. So if you could do that. So I'm asking everybody here individually, even though I'm talking to you collectively, please make note. Like, I just said something now that could be a statement on its own, teachings, on its own. So make note of those things, and then private message me. Yeah, you have to private message me. Best thing would be on WhatsApp. That would be the best way. That way I'll see it, and let me know of what what you think is, and I'll forward it, and someone is working on it, and we can disseminate, and you can be a partner in the work that we're doing. So if anybody wants to partner with that and wants to help me with that, then please let me know, first of all, that you want to do that. And so, send me a message. And then again, whenever you feel that 30-second, that 1 minute, tidbit, it is a standalone, um, okay. So I don't know if you have a pen and paper and you want to write it down while we're going, or afterwards go through it again if you're going through it again. However, whatever works for you. I don't want to take away from the class that you should kind of miss out on something. That I don't want to do. Like, that because you're thinking about, what would be a good teachings. I don't want you to miss out on the teachings themselves as a result. So however that would work best for you. Okay. Anyways, if she does not experience a physical sensation, but conducts an internal examination and discovers bleeding within the vaginal channel, we operate on this presumption that she was accompanied with a physical sensation, as explained previously. Right? So she just examined herself, and there's blood, even though she didn't have the sensation. I've mentioned in the past, back in the day, people were much more grounded and much more in tune with their physical and spiritual being. And therefore, when the menstrual cycle came, it came every the 18th of the month, 10 o'clock in the morning. They knew that it would come. Often it would be so exact. Today, we're so off because we're not so attuned to the physical and the spiritual centeredness and alignment that there is to be had. According to rabbinic law, whenever a woman discovers a blood stain on her flesh or on her clothes, she's impure. So that's rabbinic law, not biblical law, right? Because now it's only on her flesh, on her clothes. It's not she made an internal examination, she found, right? So if she discovered bleeding within the vaginal channel on her flesh, this applies even if she did not experience a physical sensation, and even if she conducted an internal examination, did not discover bleeding. This impurity is because of our doubt, perhaps a stain, came from the uterine bleeding, right? Because it's uterine bleeding only that is what makes, right? Because that was the potential life that was not realized. That would make the woman impure. Similarly, according to rabbinic law, whenever a woman discovers bleeding at a time other than her vest, a vest is like that every 18th of the month at 10, at 10 a.m. in the morning. So that whole morning period, right, from sunrise to sunset, that's called her time of seeing, a vest. And whenever she discovers a blood stain, right? So now we're talking about another time that's not when you would normally see. So whenever she discovers a blood stain, she is impure retroactively for 24 hours. If she conducted an internal examination within that time and discovered that she was pure, she is impure retroactively until the time of the inspection. Only then, right? And what does it mean, impurity? So impurity means that if you touched food or an implement, it becomes impure, which it just means you can't use it in a state of purity, right? It needs a purification to be able to use it in a state of purity, right? As a reminder today, we're all impure because we've all come in contact with a corpse. Corpse meaning in the same building, same room perhaps, or same building at least, that, would render us impure. But this is an impurity of nida that you could become purified. Well, I was saying that was in reference to eating in a state of purity. So we're not going to have that today. But here we're talking about relationships in a state of purity that you can have by going to the mikvah, the woman going to the mikvah. Although she is impure retroactive, she does not cause a man who engages in relations with her to become impure, as we explained. Right, we explained that, right? Even though we're saying retroactive, so he's impure for food, but not impure because of the relationships, right? Two different kind of impurities, right? One, right? Okay. Nor may she begin counting her days of nida or counting because of the stain, except from the time that she discovers a bleeding or the stain. Okay. So remember, after she sees, the menstrual cycle, then she needs to be days of nida, right? The counting. Whenever a woman discovers a stain, her reckoning of the vest is confused. For it's possible that the bleeding came from the uterus, and her vest must be recalculated, right? Because maybe now it's not that regular calculation, and it's coming at a different time. Something that actually we had in yesterday's class. When a woman discovers bleeding at the time of her vest, she does not become impure retroactively. Instead, the impure begins the time of discovery. Similarly, a woman who is pregnant, nursing, a virgin, or elderly do not become impure retroactively. So this retroactive is a rabbinic law, right? So if you're seeing it in the time that you would normally see it, there's no reason to go retroactive. Retroactive is only out of a doubt of whether you had uterine blood beforehand. But if you're seeing it at the regular time, there's no need in that. There's no doubt over here. What is meant by a pregnant woman? A woman whose pregnancy has become obvious. She is 3 months pregnant. What is meant by a woman nursing? A woman within 24 months of childbirth. Even if the child died, she weaned him or gave him a nursemaid. In other words, she's not actually nursing. But that 24-month period is a time that not expecting her cycle to rejuvenate as it normally would, and therefore when she discovers bleeding, it's only at the time and nothing retroactive. The term virgin refers to a girl who has never menstruated, even though she experienced uterine bleeding because of marriage or because of birth. I don't know. I have no idea what this means. Huh?
You're humble.
Well, because it says she never menstruated. And even through menstruated, even through she experienced uterine bleeding.
Like widows. It's like people who don't menstruate anymore.
It's hymenal bleeding. It's not uteral. Yeah, from the uterus or because of birth.
Calculated.
I'm not clear on this. The term elderly woman refers to a woman who did not menstruate for 90 days near her old age. When is she considered elderly? When she is called an old woman by others and she does not protest. The laws that apply when a pregnant, nursing, or elderly woman discovers a stain are the same as when she discovers bleeding. Right? There's bleeding and there's a stain we mentioned. Remember, the stain is only rabbinic law. No, I shouldn't say only rabbinic law. It is rabbinic law. The word only was not correct because the fact that it is rabbinic law doesn't make it only. It's significant, right? But she does not become impure retroactively. With regard to a virgin who has never menstruated and who is still a minor, a stain that is discovered is pure until she menstruates on 3 successive months. So if a minor sees a stain of blood, we don't consider that menstrual cycle because she hasn't menstruated yet. What is the difference between a stain which is found on a woman's flesh and one that's found on her clothing? There's no minimum measure of stain found on a woman's flesh. Now, there's a minimal amount. We are rabbinically, we are considered it as uterine blood. A stain on a garment, by contrast, is not rendered women impure unless it's the size of half a filking bean of grease, which is equivalent to a square large enough to contain 9 lentils, 3 rows by 3. If it's smaller than that, she's pure, which is the size of a dime. Okay, an American dime. If the stain is composed of small spots, they are not considered as a single entity. If it is extended, it is considered as a single entity. In other words, they're connected. They're not connected, then it's not. It has to be the size of a dime if it's on the clothing. Remember, this is all rabbinic law. When a stain is discovered on an article that is not susceptible to ritual impurity, the woman is pure and she need not be concerned about it. What is implied? So if a woman sat on a utensil made out of stone, which doesn't get impure, earth, animal dung, fish skin, on the outside of the earthenware vessel, or the cloth that is smaller than 3 finger breadths, 3 by 3, and blood was discovered on the above. Right? So now it's not on her flesh, it's not on her clothes, it's on something that she sat on. Right? And these things don't receive impurity. And you found blood there. She's pure. She's pure. Even if she inspected the earth. What if she checked the earth before she sat on it and there was no blood there? Now she sits and there's blood there. She sat on it. And when she arose, the stain was discovered. She's pure. For our sages did not decree that a woman become impure when a stain was discovered on an article that is not susceptible to ritual impurity. The above the designation of a woman as impure because of the stain that was discovered. So remember, the rabbis are the ones who made this. So the way I'm understanding, because it's like 2 dimensions over here. There is the uterine blood, but there's also the uterine blood that makes impure. It's making something, not just her impure, it makes something else impure, right? But in a case where it can't make something impure, like these instances that we gave here, sitting on a stone, sitting on the earth, right? And there is a stain of blood that's found there. She's pure because they didn't extend it to that, right? They were lenient in this instance because there's not an impurity that you're making of the thing itself, because these things do not become ritually impure. Now, nor did they decree on a stain discovered on an article susceptible of ritual impurity renders a woman impure unless that article is white. So if you're wearing white underwear and you find a stain, guess what? Women don't wear white underwear who observe these laws of ritual impurity of Nida unless it's during the counting time. The counting time, then you have to wear white, right? But during the time that you are not counting your days of purity, a woman wouldn't wear a dark colored underwear. Why? Because if there will be a stain, the sages didn't say. It's only if the stain was on something white, a white article. If, however, the article is colored, we're not concerned with the stain. For this reason, our sages ordain women should wear colored garments so they'd be protected from problems arising due to stains. Okay. I have to stop here. Love to continue.
Thank you, Rabbi.
All right. God bless you all, folks. Have a wonderful, great day. So private message me if you're going to help, if you'd like to help with that. And moreover, if there was something, there might have been a couple of things here that might have been of interest, but particularly in the Tanya, but it can be in the Chassidus in the morning, and even now. Thank you.